All right, we'll get into it. We've got the 3 homologators for 2026, 3 homologation teams. So we've got Bruce, Charlie and Jamie. We'll start off, I guess, with Jamie. You've got the big switch to Ford. I guess where's the project at for you right now?
Yeah, I feel we've got a slightly easier job than certainly Bruce, because we've got a base to start with. So the car's already performing well. Of course, we'd love to refine and keep that development curve moving along while staying within the parity walls. But yeah, I think for all of us, we're excited to hear how the Toyota's developing, and then we've got a big job ahead of us come close to year end on homologating all 3 cars, making sure that we do some good stuff in the wind tunnel and AVL or locally to make sure that they're as close as possible. We've all suffered the parity discussion for way too long, so it's important that we get it right, hit it on the head, so we can just go about racing and entertaining this huge fan base, which will most likely be out here this weekend.
And there's talk, I mean, we've seen the stories about the investment. From your point of view, Triple Eight as a business, how much is this affecting operations leading into Bathurst, the finals, the end of this year?
Well, we're taking the responsibility very, very seriously, of course. Ford Motor Company is a huge organisation and they expect results. So we've put a hand up for that job. It's a huge job, and we're going to make sure we deliver. So that's included a big investment at our warehouse to make sure that it's fully up to spec as someone like a Ford Motor Company would expect. So we're looking forward to doing the best job we can and representing them very, very well from 26 onwards.
All right, I'll move on. The other guys can ask other questions. Charlie, for yourself, since the announcement in New Zealand, how's the team been? How's the workshop been? How's the workload been in your team?
So, thanks, Paul. We're just gearing up, ready to take the baton from Jamie next door. He's got the keys at the moment for when things get released over to us, sort of, but there's a lot of discussion and it's all going well. I think Jamie's releasing Jeremy around July, potentially at this stage, so that'll be exciting. So we're just gearing up, getting it all ready. Got a CAD designer on board. We've got a few things all in place. So hopefully about mid-July we'll start, and pretty exciting times.
And for the back end of this year leading into, as Jamie said, wind tunnel testing, things that we're expecting over the break, have you already planned ahead, I guess, for what, it looks from Adelaide into the first event of next year?
For sure. So, we've had Som and Adrian, very, very key people in the team to go over to the wind cheer over there to obviously represent GM, to make sure it's all good, keep Bruce under control. He's the one we're not sure of what we've got yet. But
thank you, Charlie.
But we've got a whole team ready to go, or as many as we're allowed. So that's really exciting.
All right, I'll move on to Bruce. Bruce, we had an update in Tasmania. From your point of view, any further updates on where the Toyota project's at right now? Same
position, Paul. We're progressing very well. We've got a team of people working specifically on that. You'll notice Carl Foe isn't at the track, nor Adam Austin this weekend. We're working long hours, but we're excited. It's a great privilege to represent Toyota Motor Company. In that respect, the Supra will be spectacular. Can't wait for everyone to see it. But I will let that timeline be announced in due course.
And, are you working with other teams already? We know that Brad Jones is on board. What's it looking like in terms of, I guess, the collaboration on your end?
Well, Brad will get very used to my face and I'll get used to his. And we've already chatted a few times over the last couple of days. So, we'll be working hand in hand very closely with BJR in that respect. It's exciting times. They've got great capabilities. They're a great team. They've got 4 cars. It's opens up opportunity for us.
All right, on that, Stefan, I'll leave it with you for the first one.
Charlie, I see you getting around in a Corvette these days. Was that the number one line item that you wanted out of this HP deal, or what?
or is it a midlife crisis?
No, I don't know about that.
Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah. Obviously, representing the GM brand, I do have a Corvette, so I don't need another one. But they want to obviously put it on show, so it's all
I think
good.
you have your answer.
But it's a great car, as you know. It's an amazing car, and they're certainly really good to drive. So very happy to get around in that.
What can you tell us about your position with regards to the driver market and David Reynolds? Is he under contract for next year, or what's the score?
No, he's not under contract as yet. We have an option on David to continue for next year. We haven't really started our discussions yet, but it's something we'll look at for sure.
Is GM going to be involved in those discussions?
We'll notify them what we're doing, but yeah, it's really up to our team what we decide who we put in the car, or if it's David staying, and we're still going through all that.
Dave's had a pretty tough start to the year. Results in the next little bit going to be important in that decision?
Results are important for our sponsors, for the manufacturer, for everyone. You know, we want to win. We need to be up there. So we're looking at everything, and just a little bit early to decide where we're going and what we're doing. But Dave's a great ambassador for the team. He's done a great job, and we need to get results out of Dave, and we're throwing everything at it to make that happen for sure.
Now, you dropped in before that JJ, there was wording about released potentially around July. So is there actually a deal done here, or can you just flesh that out a little bit more? What that
I
meant?
believe there is a date. I think it's going to be signed off yet, Jamie, does it?
Yeah.
I think so, but it's very, very close. I think very, very close to releasing something then. There'll be conditions around that, etc. I'm not sure what they all are. Adrian and sort of Jamie really do that part. But it's pretty close, I think.
Let's ask Jamie then.
We're working towards that mid-July date. Not signed off yet, but that's what we're all working towards, and that's the intention.
Obviously, there's a HT handover happening here, but Jamie, you've also got one with DJR then. Yep. How is that going at the moment?
It's in progress for sure. It's got its complications. So I won't lie. So we're working through that via Ford, but I'm confident we'll get there, no problems.
Thank you.
Actually, and just to further to that, Charlie, when do you actually expect the keys to probably be with you on the GM side?
Well, it started on a little bit of collaboration with all sorts of other programs and stuff. So we've got the keys, but we haven't started the engine yet. So it's sort of mid to late July, somewhere around there, and then we get handover, etc. of all the designs, everything in the car, and all that sort of stuff. So around that time.
Bruce, just to, I guess, circle back to it, but I mean, yeah, it's still second half. July seems to be a popular time. Is that still roughly when we're going to see a Supra on track?
Second half, early second half, Connor.
So possibly July.
I think that's in the early second half of the year, months. But yeah, no, I don't want to be smart. We'll announce it in due course. Love your persistence, though, Connor.
Thank you. I guess, there's been lots of talk about NASCAR and, GM having interest in, partnering up and potentially Ford. Is that something that, you guys would like to see some sort of, I know there's plenty water to go under the bridge, but I mean, would you ever love to see a Toyota guy come and drive a Supra?
In the future, I'm sure those opportunities will open up. But right now, our focus is on getting this program successfully done, so we go to the AVO and the wind tunnel and we do the best job we can. So, but sure, when you're talking to manufacturers like Toyota, those always open themselves up, and we've got a great friend of the team, and Steve Hallam, over up there in the US as well. So those conversations will evolve. But right now, focusing on the task at hand.
Question to all three of you. Since Tassie, James Warburton has been appointed or returning, and he's in the paddock this weekend. I mean, just keen to gather your thoughts on James coming back to steer the ship.
Yeah, I'm a fan of James. He did a fantastic job. What was it? 6 years ago now, I think. 6 years
13
ago.
to 17, I think it was.
Yeah. So I thought he did a great job. So when I was asked the question, I said I think he'd be a great candidate. He's got some. He's a salesman. Great skills. I think he's exactly what the supercar business needs right now. We'll make sure that he's got the right team of people around him to support him. But no, from what I've heard in in team owner land. He's a great addition, and we're all looking forward to working with Supercars to try to grow the business as much as we can.
How good is it you got someone who's super experienced, who knows the category well, who cares about it, loves it, knows TV well, knows the commercial environment in Australia, someone who can hit the ground running. It's fantastic. It's just a great appointment, and it's awesome to have James back because he will make things happen.
And yes, I'm the same, exactly. He's a true leader. He's done a good job before, and getting him back is a great thing. Must remember Shane has done a great job. It's really vital that we keep Shane in the sport, and he's instrumental in, staying on Motorsport Director. He's been great for that, for this new role for him. But I think James can take us to the next level as well, which is really exciting for all of us.
And just to Charlie and Jamie, can you confirm? I think Charlie, we'd spoken about this in New Zealand. But I mean, are you actually going to bring the Camaro to the wind tunnel and Jamie the Mustang?
I don't believe we'll be taking the Camaro. I think everyone will have to match the Camaro, and the Mustang is my agreement. If the Mustang stays the way it is, I don't believe we'll be taking a car there, no.
Yeah, to be confirmed. It's a little bit early to tell.
Yep.
I remember Windshear have got their datum car, which they put in the tunnel every month to validate the tunnel. So we may just use that car as the validation tool to be able to then, and we've got all the numbers from last year. We spent all that money on the Camaro and the Mustang's numbers. So it'll either be that and the Toyota have to match those numbers, or we take one or both cars to validate against all three. So still yet to be confirmed, but we certainly want Supercars to direct those discussions. If they want us there, then we'll be there. But need some smart people, especially with wind tunnel testing, to be able to make that call on what's best for us. Because the key to it all is to have parity and move on. You know what I mean? Make the cars all the same as far as aero goes and horsepower, and we get on with the racing. So whoever wins on Sunday is the genuine winner. We've just got to try to dismiss the parity talk as much as we can. So it's critical. It's a critical part of the grand scheme to get it right. It's going to be difficult. It was difficult with two cars. It's going to be twice as difficult with three, but it's achievable. So it's a huge focal point.
Cool. One more for me was just Jamie about Will going to Chicago. Just some thoughts on that.
I think it's great. I think from driving to engineering to all things down under, I think we do a good job down here in this little supercar category we run. So any opportunity we can get for any of our personnel to go overseas and show our skill set on the big stage, I think it's great. SVG did an unbelievable job there a couple of years ago. So street track. Hopefully there is a little bit of rain and there's a few variables, and Will can do a similar thing and come through the pack late on good tyres. So no, we're all excited for him for the opportunity, and we'll be following him all the way.
Just had to ask, did you ever wish that you got to do that during your driving days?
Yeah, it would have been nice for sure. The opportunity didn't arise for me. Maybe I didn't make the opportunities come when you make the opportunity. But yeah. I'm still might be able to do it, but it's probably a bit long in the tooth now. But no, we're excited for it for sure.
Just a quick one for me after that Connor Steph 1-2 punch.
I thought he said the question before was the last one, but just a technicality. Sorry. Okay.
Bruce, how have Chaz and Ryan been in the Toyota sort of journey?
Fantastic. They understand that we want to leave the Ford relationship on the best footing we can, hopefully winning a championship. And in that respect, the eyes are focused on doing the best job for Ford. But equally, of course, they can see there's a lot of work going on in our business. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of energy. And in that respect, you can't walk into our premises without feeling that. So it rubs off. But at the moment, it's get the job done out on the track.
Jamie, racing this year, limited testing, but do you have any plans to get in the car before the Enduros?
Monday, we've got a ride day here, so I'll do a few more laps. But no, it's ride days for me at this stage, and a bit of simulation stuff. So limited racing for me before the Enduros.
Is it still kind of a year-on-year thing? You make that call ready to go to the Enduros. Do you know when? How often do you know that it's time to keep going, or when will you know that maybe time's
I've
up?
got to make a call at the end of after the Enduros, because so we've got plenty of lead time and planning. But yeah, it's year on year for me. As soon as somebody better comes along, I'll happily step aside.
All good. Steph, Connor. Oh, Steph, I knew you had the hand out.
Always one more.
Interested for your thought from each of you on the logistics of the calendar this year. Obviously, this is sort of twinned with Darwin in terms of trucks, and there's crews having to be sent up there from like the Sunday, Monday onwards. Cost implications, your thoughts on whether this needs to be worked on for next year, starting with you, Bruce?
Look, I think in any role, in any motorsport team, and actually in anyone's role, you can always review and look to do things better. You can always look to improve. If we looked at this in hindsight, it's a big exercise to go from Perth to Darwin and have the turnaround for Indigenous round, and what you need to do to bring that to life respectfully and properly in Darwin. So that's an interesting one, and we will take those conversations up separately. And then equally, perhaps the period of time on the water in the lead up after the Grand Prix to New Zealand, and then waiting for those to come back before you went to Tasmania. I think there are always tweaks we can make. We don't say this with any malice. It's just constant improvement is the nature of a racing team and the nature of sport. So we've got to review these things and look at them analytically and see if we can do better.
Anything to add?
No, I'm exactly the same as Bruce there. And the big, this road trip one, it's okay, but yes, doing our car liveries for Darwin and the Indigenous rounds, which is important. That's a big thing to do it in a garage. It's a lot easier to do it back home, but there's lots of things there. But the big thing for me was the waiting time from New Zealand going there and back. That was a long wait, you know, and then we all had to rush, etc. Ideally, it'd be great to air freight again. I would love to. We had a great model. I know it's expensive, but we had our cars, we had everything back. We can do more racing, and that was a big thing, that we had an advantage over every other sport, and it was fantastic. But I know it's expensive, and it'd be great to do that again.
Agreed.
Jamie?
It's a big topic. It's a big topic. Exactly what these guys have said. But whoever's trying to organise a calendar and trying to get the right rounds in at the right time, in the right climate, try to miss Mother's Day, Father's Day, the AFL Grand Final, whatever, and then you got all your governments saying, we want to be here at this time or that time. It's a bloody difficult thing. Mm-hmm. So to try to piece it all together, of course it's difficult for the teams this year, but it is what it is. But then you open up questions of do we have two sets of cars? Do we stay on the road? All those other things. Is the sport bigger than just the 14 rounds or the 13 rounds? So there's a lot to it all. But I think Bruce nailed it in the first 10 seconds.
Yep.
We just keep trying to constantly evolve it and improve it over time.
Are you expecting it to be 14 rounds next year, with the Christchurch round being an addition to what we've got?
We're expecting that for
yes,
sure.
I think totally. So, yeah, which would be good. The more the better, I think. And but yeah, just that gap for New Zealand's a bit of a pain, but the more the better.
One thing that James Warburton's made clear is that he's still a believer in the international prospects for the championship beyond Australia and New Zealand. How do you guys feel about having another crack at those markets again after it's not really worked in the past?
Commercially, it's always good to be playing in the time zones where you get the most exposure for your partners and the people who help fund the sport. But I also genuinely believe that working as hard as we can to maximise our presence in Australasian motorsport is really important. And in that respect, the more rounds locally and the more chance we get to touch and engage with the fans around Australia, that's the beauty of the sport. You go to the Grand Prix and most of the people can't get anywhere near those cars, and the ability for us to be in that paddock at the Australian Grand Prix was fantastic, and the fans got to touch and breathe and be part of the Supercars Championship. That's super important. This is part of our DNA. That's part of our USP. So I think we've got to keep working on that.
Agree exactly there. The international side does interest me and the team. For staff retention, just imagine going to Singapore or somewhere for your staff. Wow, we're racing at a Formula One race over there and that sort of stuff. So that's also important, and also opportunities for sponsors and all that. But I agree with Bruce. We've got to make sure our own backyard is 100% right and running really well. You know, the best we possibly can do in Australia. And but I'm certainly open to look at opportunities if it stacks up. We get more revenue, the whole thing, and opportunities for our fans, sponsors, and staff especially.
Yeah, it's pretty early to know if it's a good or a bad plan. But the good thing is it's a bold plan and it's a bold ambition, and that's probably a good thing. I don't think we can just cruise along doing what we've been doing for the last 20 years. I think we need to spice it up a little bit. So I love the fact that the incoming CEO is thinking boldly, because there'll be some gold there somewhere.
Thank you.
Cool.
Alrighty on that. Thank you very much, guys, and all the best this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. You right?